project. You've got to hear about this. It will, I'm sure, fascinate you as much as it did me. And I take great pleasure in introducing to you Mrs. Alison Vandergragt and talking about her War Horse project.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting me out today to speak about something that's very near and dear to my heart, something that I'm very passionate about. Before we get started, are there any veterans here in this room today? Does anybody know a veteran? Okay, anybody a first responder here by any chance? Somebody know a first responder? Firefighter? Police? Paramedic? Surely we all know somebody who serves us well. And I guess on the heels of John's talk about freedoms and rights, I was kind of thinking, how does this war horse thing, fit into what you guys here are doing, calling the government on wasteful spending? And that's really where connection I made today is for us, the kind of money that gets wasted on something as silly as language issues that don't even exist. When our veterans and our first responders, our critical care workers are so in need of attention and treatment at this moment. So I know it's kind of neat to share the stage with Nick today, and I just want to know why I just got the boot to go ahead of you. You wanted to get the last word in. So I have that figured out. That's okay. So, with all the news that we're hearing in the media about workplace stress injuries, it's hard not to really bring attention to what it is that we're doing. And I think today is a great opportunity to share with you, based on what your desires are for rights and freedoms of Canadians, just as I care so deeply about our veterans and our first responders. So I'm not really here to talk about what their struggles are, because everybody knows why and how veterans and first responders struggle. But today I'm here to tell you about this really great program, and it's giving hope back to these individuals who are struggling with stress injuries. So the War Horse Project is a group therapy program. We use horses and take the office session out of the office and into the equine arena. And the important part of that is if you're going to a psychotherapist, and sometimes at some point in our life we've all had to sit down and chat to somebody about something. When you're sitting in that office, it's really hard not to see there's these walls and there's someone sitting across from you. And that kind of setting does work. It does have its limitations. It works more for some people. Typically our Canadian veterans, it works, but I think we got a better place to do it, and that's out in the arena. So we're not doing a whole lot of something different than what would be done in a psychotherapy office. The therapist is present. We're just outdoors with the horses. And those horses kind of just give us something to focus on, get our mind off the fact that they're dealing with our issues. And it's just a unique setting that brings about, I think, a more effective modality of treatment than, say, in the office. So participants come to the War Horse. They meet once a week for 16 weeks. Sessions are a half day long. We can't get rid of them at the halfway mark. Noon rolls around, the facilitating team wants to debrief, plan the next week, and our veterans and our firsts want to stick around and just have a good old day. So it's not it isn't your typical treatments in that way that usually when you go to your appointment, your 45-50 minutes is up the door. So a typical session includes discussion on a related therapy pertaining to their treatment. So we could be talking about moral injury, forgiveness, anxiety, depression, family issues. So typical things that you would talk about in therapy. Our participants are encouraged to work in pairs because quite often when they come into the program, they self-isolated and they're kind of inside. Having a buddy that you can learn to trust and work, talk with and work with that horse is pretty powerful. The focus is not so much on horsemanship skills. They're not out there to learn how to be a cowboy. Although they do that, we do groundwork, we're doing some riding, but the goal is really learning and challenging oneself to explore, expand personal boundaries, and kind of add some tools to that toolbox. You've got a toolbox, you've got things when your anxiety goes up, things you can do to bring that anxiety down. And trust me, working with horses, there will come a time when anxiety will spike for these individuals. We try and make it as soft as possible, but our facilitating team is there in case somebody's feeling a little too stressed. But the horses do a really natural job of bringing that down. So someone could come into session on a real edge, they could be amped up about something, but you kind of just throw them out there with the horses and there's something so naturally calming about them. So this is a real opportunity for our veterans and first responders to explore who they are after these life-changing circumstances. Post-traumatic stress injuries happen, they don't go away, and people don't get cured of these things. They learn to manage with their symptoms. And that's what it is, our goal is we're trying to help them manage these symptoms. Participants tell us that the program is life-changing, and some have even said life-saving. Spouses tell us that they're seeing glimpses of the person that they once knew. And that's so powerful, even though we know they will never be that person that they used to know before these injuries occurred. But a significant positive impact is being made on their lives. So you might be thinking, well, why does it work? What's so special about, the Warhorse Project? Well, we're finding that powerful connections between a horse, exploring that relationship, how to work with a horse, it kind of also takes us back to the agrarian roots that we're only a few generations removed from. I believe if you looked at other wars, it's not the first time we've sent soldiers to war and they've come home injured. But when they came home then, they engaged right back into that farm living. They had to be responsible. They had to get out of bed in the mornings to take care of the animals. They had to for survival. Nowadays, there really is very little reason for a veteran to really get out of bed when he's feeling really down and in a very low spot in their life. So we're often here that this is the reason they would get out of bed on a Friday morning is to come to Warhorse. Those horses are so powerful. So, and I guess there's something about a 1,000-pound beast of burden to actually do something with. If you're talking about a veteran or a first responder, I mean, all the things they encompass in their day or in their experiences, a horse, a 1,000-pound horse, being able to, and I don't like to use the word control because the way we approach it, it's about a relationship. So how can I get this horse to do something without getting angry, without getting forceful, without getting fearful? And that happens very naturally, and it can happen very easily in this program. But I think those are the two main pieces, getting back to what our agrarian roots were not so long ago. And again, meeting in a group of your peers who are experiencing the same things as you are is very powerful. So a lot of people come and say, I don't want to do group therapy, I hate group therapy, and I've never tried it, and it's the worst thing ever I can imagine. But once we can help them get through that barrier of, I don't want to be in this group therapy, just engaging with somebody else who's experienced similar things and developing hope and inspiration between each other that, man, he's doing okay, I can be okay too. And we didn't begin the program with the intent of making this a peer-supported program because in round one, which was 2.5 years ago, July of 2014, we had no members that had been through the program. And the facilitating team, we'd sit around and we'd say, what does a soldier think about blah, 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 blah? And I'm like, I don't know. And we'd do little internet searches, what would be their perspective? And we had all these theories and ideas. And one day it just occurred to me, I said, why don't we ask them? that was a real shift for us. Once we completed our first round, some true leaders, as the military does have some real awesome leaders there. They may be ill and injured, but their potential is so unbelievable, and this program has really enabled some of them to really rise above their injuries. And allowing them to come back to support the future programs as a peer supporter has been a very, I think, one of the key pieces to the success of the program. But on a clinical note, we have been tracking the outcomes based on self-assessments. So we track the intensity and the severity of each of a number of symptoms associated with post-traumatic stress. And what we're noticing is a significant decrease in the severity of the symptoms. Some to the point where it's been moderate to high, to bringing it down to normal to moderate. And although we're always looking for funding, the funders want, tangible results. So we're just on the cusp of being able to take this information and turn it into something useful, so that programs like this, because we're not the only group out doing equine therapy, obviously, to validate what it is that we're doing on a clinical level. So we're also noticing feelings of self-worth and confidence are increasing, decreased anxiety, decrease in anxiety-related disorders. And for those of you who don't know, because I know a lot of you are kind of following on Facebook, but the Workers Project is a program that I deliver in near Garrison, Petawawa, which is an hour and 40 minutes. Oh, I guess even further from here, probably 2 hours from here. And we are just minutes from the base, and that's been a really good connection. Just this year, we added first responders, so we've had 4 first responders. Interestingly enough, half of them are from the Ottawa Valley, or Ottawa, traveling to Ottawa Valley for programming. So we've seen over 9 individuals through our program. And of course, a few of those being first responders. Our first major financial support came from Bell, True Patriot Bell. So the Bell that's top sends funds to True Patriot Love, who funded our program. Also, Elizabeth Graham of Tony Graham of Lexus Toyota. I would love to say that she has been a supporter of the program. So, next time you're looking for your next car, I would suggest go check it out there. The Order of St. George Ottawa chapter, Carey Hill Realty of Dunrobin. Oh my gosh, I'm listing all these Ottawa places. Are you noticing a connection? A lot of people in the Ottawa area supporting a little program up in Petawawa. Carey Hill Realty donates $250 for every closing that they do of all their transactions, which has been pretty amazing. And Willis College has a campus here in Ottawa, one in Arnprior, and one in Perth, and maybe another one, and they've been great financial supporters as well. And I'm also going to mention that some of you who follow us on Facebook know that we just recently launched a line of coffee. So Snark Coffee Roasters out of Arnprior created a very own line of coffee for us to sell. So it's online. I don't have to see, as my job's busy enough not having to sell coffee. But anybody who wanted to support the program can go there, choose their kind, their particular blended coffee. I don't drink coffee, so once in a blue moon, if I'm driving, maybe I need a perk up. But 14 different blends of coffees. It's pretty incredible that organizations are seeing the value of keeping this program going, and we're pretty excited to have, and of course there's countless private donors that have supported us as well. We've been requested by facilities across the country to come and bring Warhorse to their farms. And it's been really hard to do so far. Early stages of developing a program, you don't just do it once and say, oh, we got a program here. It's taken us 9 rounds. We finally got our program solidified, duplicatable, much like a franchise. So we're pretty, it's not an official announcement, but I'm just letting you in on a little secret that we are looking to expand in the Ottawa area. I have significant interest in people, funders, people with pockets that want to see this program happen here in the Ottawa, in the nation's capital. And I think that it would be the best place ever to bring the Warhorse Project to. And we are already reaching veterans and first responders for this area, so let's make it a little bit closer for them as well. So I can sit and talk forever about this program. I don't want to bore anybody and put you to sleep, but I just wondered if anyone had any questions about the program that maybe I didn't touch on.
comment, here, thanks for the great work.
And here's another, thank you. Ron has been really great at helping us out. I was trying to list everybody. You list everybody or you don't, and it's so risky. Ron and the Greater Ottawa Truckers Association have been. Thank you. And yes, go ahead.
I was wondering if I could get information from you. My granddaughter just divorced person. She's got her own. She's resident in Lindsay, Ontario. And also my son, her father, is a retired paramedic from Metro Toronto, and he's seen everything.
Yes, he has.
I'd like to get some information.
Yes, you see me. I have information. I have brochures and all sorts of information. If anyone would like it, just catch up with me a little bit later, and I'll get it for you.
Thank you
You
very
have a
much.
question? That was your question? Okay. If that's it, I appreciate your time, and I hope next time we chat, I've got more news on a final permanent location. We're really excited. Thank you.
Okay, it's a red ticket. It's a red ticket. 0, 3, 5, 9, 3, 7, 9. No, there's no more numbers. 0, 3, 5, 9, 9.